So I just want to let you know kind of what's going on today. You'll hear from four speakers who love the Lord and have a heart for everyone here. Also, I'd like to give a little shout out. We're going to do it again at the end, but I'd like to give a little shout out to everyone that put in even the smallest amount of planning to the largest amount of planning so that you all can be here today and hear for the Lord. There are volunteers here. You're probably wondering about the gifts on your seats. So there's a magnet. And this is a magnet of encouragement. I think the best place for it is the fridge. That's probably because that's where I spend a lot of my time. Or you can put it by your bed because that's where we like to have most of our time be. Also, you have a journal. I want to also let you know that this journal on every seat, these journals are very special. Every single one of them was prayed over and handwritten, and every scripture is not the same. So every single one is for you. They've been prayed over for you with your own scripture from the Lord. There's pens, take a lot of notes. That's always a really good thing to do. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a timer because I tend to be windy. I don't know quite how that works, but I want to make sure that I am staying on my time. So again, my name is Lacey Gilbert, and I want to tell you just a little bit about myself and how I came to know the Lord. I started out really at conception a little untraditional, right? Parents were at a party, and there I was. I mean, not there, but you know what I'm talking about. And I was born a twin, and separated from my twin at birth and put into foster care. I didn't have a chance to meet my twin until I was 30 years old. She had cerebral palsy, and I grew up feeling like I had caused that. That's what I had done. Also was adopted. I'm biracial, half black and half white. It just means I don't know if I should, eat grilled chicken or fried chicken. Basketball or crochet. But I was brought up in a white home, so I swim. But I was adopted by a single white mother. And so growing up, in the mid-'60s, right now it's different. There's a lot more biracial children, but then, not so far back, 50 years ago, right, people would wonder why I had a white mother. And so growing up, I just felt out of sorts. and just that I didn't really belong. I was in special ed, I'm super dyslexic, right, so learning was just a little bit different for me. I was cute, so I had that going for me. But this is kind of the struggle. And so I chose what a lot of people choose. I chose drugs, and I chose alcohol, and I chose cute boys. Some people are still doing that. But there was a time in my life where I felt like I needed something a little bit different. And I met a friend who was just on fire for the Lord, grew up in a home where her parents were on fire for the Lord, and there was something just different about her. And the way she lived. She didn't stuff it down my throat. She didn't tell me that I should stop getting high. She didn't tell me that I should stop drinking. She didn't tell me that I should stop doing these things. She just lived her life, and she loved me, and she saw me as Christ loved me. And I knew that. I knew there was something. I wasn't sure what it was. I couldn't put my hand on it, but I knew there was something about her. We shouldn't have been friends. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke. There's nothing about us on paper that we should have been friends. But we know now, 20-some-odd years later, right? So I get married at 24, and that was a train wreck. Anybody married in their 20s? Right? So this is my second marriage now. I'll tell you what, there's a big difference between married in your 20s and your 40s. I'll tell you. In your 20s when your man tries to go out, you're like, don't go. I'll miss you. Text me when you get there. You get married in your 40s and you're calling your man's friends talking about somebody better come pick this dude up. I need a break. So after my first marriage ended, I was in turmoil, right? I was abandoned, and I was left, and I had lost another family. It was just a really difficult time in my life. I'm in therapy, and I'm working through everything I need to work through, and I'm taking some medication for depression. I'm just a mess. And I'm dating, trying to find love in a way that I think sometimes we, as men and women, I've never been a man, but as women, we do. And I was sitting in a training, and God said to me, stop dating. Now, I thought he was talking to the woman next to me, and maybe I was just sitting too close to her. You know, clearly God wasn't going to take all this off the market. So I didn't listen. I didn't listen for a while. God also told me that the next man I go on a date with is going to be the man I marry. So I hired every male-dominant person to come to my house to work on something, like an electrician. I hired a plumber twice. You know what I mean? Open the door for the Domino's pizza boy, like, hey! This could be it. I did this other thing, though. I picked out, like, body parts and personality traits and characteristics, and I put them in this, like, Jesus Dropbox. You know, like the real clown? Like nice legs, and I put those in the Jesus Dropbox. Right? Clean fingernails, it's important, ladies. I put that in the Jesus Dropbox. 6'6", right? Put that right there in that Dropbox. And then I was at church, and I saw my husband. And I thought to myself, Jesus didn't look in the Dropbox. But his will, not mine. So I married him after stalking him for about a year. I mean, I had to find out about him. I had to take my time. So I married him, and I got pregnant on my honeymoon with triplets. At 44 years old. That's all the ones I got. Yeah. I know, so many ladies out there are like, yes, this can still happen. So many ladies are like, oh wait, this can still happen? The blessing of this story is that I came from a place where I wasn't wanted, feeling that way growing up, and only desiring to have twins as a mother, as long as I could think about having children, right? And in my first sonogram appointment, my husband wasn't with me because he was sick. We just got back from a mission trip. And the technician was probably like a 25-year-old dude. And he's doing the exam, and he gets this look on his face. I mean, he got a look on his face like, I said, hey, kid, what's going on? He's like, I think there's 3 in there. And I said, hey, I think you better shut up. He said, no, yeah, we're not allowed to make jokes like that, man. Gonna need to go get a supervisor. So he left the room, and I called my husband. I said, honey, guess what? We're having triplets. And he was like, what? Are they all mine? So I marry a man that I've known for a year, knowing this is who God has for me. And I'm telling you, on our way to Palm Springs for our honeymoon, I remember sitting in the car and having just a mild panic attack, thinking, what have I done? I don't know this dude. Like, this is forever. This is it. This is like the real for real, for real, for real. And going back to everything that he told me on our first date. Jail time, drug addiction, mother and father that fought constantly, dad is now deceased, homelessness, craziness in his life. And God said to me, Lisa, do you remember what you saw in him as you were sitting across that table? And he was telling you everything about him. First of all, how courageous was he? Second of all, he reminded me that all I saw was the man that God saw. The potential, right? God had picked this man out for me. Now, let me tell you, marriage is not easy. For those of you that are married, can I get a little something? Who's like married out here? I mean, I love him, and I would do it again. How to him, not somebody else. But marriage is tricky. Marriage can be the most beautiful thing ever. But do you know what I have? I have a man that if I say, look, we may be going through a couple little things, I think we should probably go speak to a pastor. I have a man that says, yes. I have a husband who is now with the triplets. Got up this morning, made breakfast for me and the kids, got everybody dressed and ready. Well, I did that part. He supervised. And is now at softball practice and dance practice with the boys. I want you all to be incredibly encouraged today. And remember that, my story may not be your story. You all have one. Some of you have lived these amazing lives that on paper you think, why would I complain? I don't have anything going on, anything terrible going on. So when something happens in your life, the devil will immediately say to you, why are you worried about that with your little privileged life and you leave it to be for parents and you had no problems? Bring it to God. The devil can't help you. Those of you who've had really difficult lives, maybe some of you still are just really having a difficult time. It took everything for you to be here today. Take it to God. We're not going to sit here today and Christianize you. We're not going to give you all these cute little quotes and things for you to do. These ladies today are going to speak from their hearts of God. I want you ladies to leave here today different, changed. I don't want you to feel bad if you walk out of here, you stub your toe, and a curse word comes out of your mouth. I say that to say, because what the devil will do is say, Steve, you haven't changed. You didn't hear anything that God said. You're not listening to him. Don't do it. Your change is your change. It's between you and Jesus Christ. A lot of what ladies are going to talk about today is sistership. That's what we're here for today. Sistership. I have amazing friends in my life, amazing friends, and I have healed so many wounds. And I have to, on a regular basis, I have to remind myself that these 3 kids really came out of my belly. Like I for sure made them. And they're great. Anybody else make more than 1 kid at a time? Look at you guys like, I did. No, at a time. No. Look, I have a lot of friends that had kids the same time I did, and just had 1 kid. And no offense, it's just 3's harder than 1. It's just 3's harder than 1. I'll give you an example. Breastfeeding. See what I'm saying? Yeah. I had to use like a lazy Susan. Just... It's a lot of work is what I'm saying. It was a lot of work. All right. Are you ladies ready to get started?